All right, lightning round.
Okay.
Where did we meet?
We met at 211 King Street.
Yes.
You and Vanessa were incubating your bookstore in the 121 Studios incubator space,
Yes.
and I was haunting the upstairs as part of web.isod.
Were you making zines at that time?
I was not making zines when we first met, no. It took until 2018 for me to make my first zine. It was marinating. The ideas were there, wasn't making them just yet.
We were incubating, you were marinating.
Yeah. Exactly.
But you came to the Bad Art Festival, am I right?
I did, yeah. Bad Art Festival was one of those events that was just like, yep, this is what I have to be doing. I'm not there yet, but that's where I want to be. Yep.
And what happened the next year?
The next Bad Art Festival, I was a thorn in people's side, being like, we got to make this happen, and it was great. I did some bad portraits. We had, I think we had some performances. We had some screenings. It was perfect. It was beautiful.
And were you making zines at that time?
I think I was.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what? I think Bad Art 2 happened right after I started making zines. So Bad Art 2 was maybe another floodgate moment of time to make weird shit.
And we loved them, of course. The zines that you gave them to us, and we loved them.
Yeah. Well, I think it really started when you guys were doing your COVID Patreon program.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and you guys asked me to be one of the monthly perks.
Right.
So I remember I have a photo somewhere of 120 little zines all like folded up in a stack. Actually, I don't know if you knew this, but Vanessa texted me being like, hey, just wondering when the zines are coming. I'm like, yeah, I'll get them soon. I'm getting married today. So she texted me like I was in the car being driven to my wedding location. Like, yeah, I'll get them to you soon. Yeah.
Percolating, marinating, incubating. There's so much gestation in the past 3 years. And then of course we approached you to anthologize your work.
Yeah, that blew my my tiny little mind, or my big dumb brain, as it were. I was just so excited because I have so much respect for you and Vanessa as writers yourselves, but also as curators. Like this store that we're in right now is just it's you guys. You know, it's in every book I see. I'm like, yep, that makes sense. That's why it makes sense that it's here. So the fact that you guys approached me and were like, hey, we love your work, let's publish it, I was honored.
And the book is a collection of the first, how many years of your work?
The first 3 years, so 2018 to 2021 stuff is in there, all mini zine work. I do some larger projects here and there now, but when I started off, it was all just 8.5 by 11 folded up mini zines. So Big Dub Brain is a collection of that work.
Right. And what if there was one thing that we could put in here that we didn't? I think it should be a song, like a bad Hallmark card that you open up and you hear, or a pop-up. What would be your ideas for those two devices? Yeah,
I feel like I oddly enough grew up on a lot of novelty music, thanks to my dad. Thanks, Dad. So probably something like Tom Lehrer, like Poisoning Pigeons in the Park. I feel like it captures the chaos, but also kind of like the false refinement of what I'm going for.
And tell me about your studio and what it's like doing your work in an off-site studio.
So I got my first studio at the Forest City Gallery this year, and it's been incredible. I'm somebody who thrives a lot when I have those very kind of physical spaces like workspace, home space, to know that I can go to a place and there's not, dishes that I have to do. I don't bring my laptop with me. It's just me in a space with maybe some music or podcasts, and there's certain supplies that I just leave there, and I go and I make stuff, and it always amazes me how much I get done in a short amount of time just because I have that space to focus. So it's been incredible.
Not that this number is necessarily measuring standard, but how many zines have you made altogether, would you say?
I think I've made 24 or 25 zines.
Incredible.
Which is kind of nuts to think about. But yeah.
How do you know when an idea is right, when an idea comes along?
I feel like I know an idea is right when I get that kind of like gut excitement about it, being like, yes. Like this is like when I can see the panels and pages kind of forming themselves in my head. Like, I think because I read a lot of comics as a kid, I tend to think in panels and things like that very easily. So when I can see the sparks inside my brain going off, it's like, yep, that's the one. And even if I have to park it for later, I know there's something there.
And last question, how does it make you feel when you hear that people who aren't part of the London art scene, who aren't necessarily from London, Ontario, who've never picked up a zine in their life, come into the shop and pick up your book or one of your original zines and bring it to the counter and say, who is this person? What am I holding? This is incredible.
That's incredible to me, because it's so important to me that art and art making is for everybody and feels approachable to everybody. So I try to do work that, that people just feel like they can connect with. And I love the idea that because it's absurd and colorful and eye-catching in that way, that people are drawn to it, and maybe it's opened up a whole world for them. I've talked to a couple people lately, actually, who have just gotten into zines, and they're so excited about it. And it's really exciting and fulfilling for me to think that I can be part of that, because again, I want everybody to be making and enjoying art. It's not something that should be locked behind an ivory tower or obfuscating language, and zines are a celebration of that.
Where is this ivory tower and how can we conquer it? How can we slay the dragon that's in it? One last question, I lied. There's one last question. Where can we learn more about you?
So I have a website, sammyorlowski.com. Most of my stuff really happens on my Instagram. My Instagram is where it's at. And that's sammy.makes.things. And that's where I tend to remember to post the most. I also have Twitter. Don't always remember to post to Twitter. If I do tweet, it's probably about how much I love cats and stuff like that. But Instagram's where it's at.
The ghost that posts the most. You've been watching Jason Dickson, Brown and Dickson Arts Weekly. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Merriment, except
Amazing.
for the few we take home to experiment. My pulse will be quickening with each drop of strychnine we feed to a pigeon. It just takes a smidgen to poison a pigeon in the park.